Welcome to Stupid Muslim Comments. This video series presents some of the amazingly stupid comments by Muslims on YouTube. Here are this week's top 5 picks. This week's comments are presented to you by the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Check out his channel and make sure to subscribe.
Hello. I am the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I will answer any question you have about religion. I have boiled for your sins and love you all. Visit my YouTube channel and subscribe. Thank you all. Ramen.
This week's first comment is from Tom Kim, who said,
My brain is not hijacked, but my brain is sure being washed or purified by Islam. Before I came to Islam, I used to drink, clubs, sex, wear inappropriate dress, even in the church. When my brain was washed by Islam, I gave up all those negative things and now I am a best human being, with full of joy and tranquility. I invite you to this. Please learn about Islam from those knowledgeable. Peace.
So let me get this straight. You admit that you are being brainwashed by Islam? Did I hear that correctly? I have never heard anyone try to turn that into a positive before. I prefer my brain to be the dirty thing it is if the alternative is holding irrational beliefs based upon ancient mysticism and folklore. I prefer to live a life where I believe in things for good reasons and where one can enjoy all that life has to offer, including indulging responsibly in alcoholic beverages, coitus between consenting adults, and wearing whatever your heart desires. I am a fully functioning adult and I make my own decisions. I have no need for an institutional religious parental figure directing my thoughts and actions. Life is what you make of it, and if you strive for a joyful and tranquil existence, then surround yourself with people who bring that for you. I find joy and tranquility in the embrace of my wife. I enjoy the company of my family and friends. I find pleasure in engaging in my hobbies and personal interests. Religions make promises they can't back up with evidence and require that I waste my precious time on meaningless prayers, readings, and religious services. There are real things to do in this amazing world, and I don't have a second to waste on believing in fantasy. Our next comment is from Akil Ma, who said,
If you came from monkey, then where did they come from the start? And also you try tell me I am a monkey? No, I am not. Monkey are still found in zoo. Why have they not evolved yet? Why of the face design is so perfect, everything works as it does because of it high power? Answer this, who made a monkey? If we come from them, why are there 2 genders and not 3? Who created the brain? Very clever piece. Who created the eye? It did not make itself. Your soul. Science got no answer for soul. All it says, body get lighter when a person dies. For the record, everything has an end, so don't cry about that.
In my search for stupid Muslim YouTube comments, I was surprised to see so many mentions of monkeys. Many Muslims seem drawn to call infidels monkeys, as if it were some derogatory remark, and deny that they are apes themselves. I thought it was an interesting observation worth mentioning, as I have never before realized the prevalence of it. Now on to the questions and arguments of this particular comment. Since monkeys are defined as any non-human primate mammal, we are not monkeys and we did not descend from them. However, we do share a common ancestor. The monkeys found in the wild and zoos are our distant cousins who evolved over the last few million years separately from us. Monkeys, humans, and other apes are all continually evolving based upon environmental stimuli and survival advantage. In the Galapagos Islands, you find 10 to 15 giant tortoise species that all evolved separately from each other because each island has a unique ecosystem which required different adaptations in order for them to survive. Living beings look often designed for their environment because of how well suited they are for surviving in their environment. However, this is due to species evolving to suit their home rather than a sign of divine intervention. Evolution is a process in which genetic mutations, over millions of generations, give the organism either a survival advantage, disadvantage, or neutral effect. If the traits of the organism are advantageous for survival, that species with those genetic mutations are likely to survive and reproduce. If the genetic mutations are detrimental to survival, then the species dies off. Evolution is a process of natural selection, a selection of which species will best adapt and flourish to the ever-changing conditions found on this planet. On to your final few points. A. For most animal species, there are only two sexes because it is the most basic way for genetic variation and chances of success. 3 sexes would make it more challenging for procreation because you would have more chances of infertility of one of the 3, plus getting everything together at the same time would result in a diminished chance of future offspring. Some species are asexual and can reproduce on their own. However, since their offspring will be an exact genetic copy of the parent, any negative traits will be copied as well. While still evolving, asexual species' DNA mutation do not occur as frequently as sexual reproduction, which would lead to a loss in the species' potential survivability. B. To ask who created the brain is to already suggest that a who exists and that a brain requires a creator. Both assertions are baseless. Just like all other parts of an animal's body, the brain evolved from something lesser over billions of years. C. The eye evolved from lesser developed eyes over billions of years, going all the way back to our distant ancestors who developed a very crude ability to sense light. The ability to sense light and shadow gave these creatures a survival advantage over other species, and so they survived and reproduced and evolved into all the species with eyes you see today. A quarter functioning eye is better than no eye. A half a functioning eye is better than a quarter. Each successive genetic improvement of the eye gave the offspring a better chance to survive. D. In regards to the soul, since we have no evidence of its existence, we cannot apply the scientific method to it and conclude its characteristics. Dr. Duncan McDougall, an early 20th century physician, attempted to measure the human body before and after death to see if the process of dying resulted in a change in body weight due to the hypothesized soul leaving the body. He found a loss of 21 grams. However, there are a number of issues regarding the results. 1. Only 6 humans were tested. 2. Out of the 6 test subjects, 2 of the results had to be discarded as of no value, 2 recorded a weight drop, 1 showed a reversal of the loss, and the final one was recorded as losing 21 grams. 3. Dr. McDougall never conducted the experiment again, or anyone else for that matter. I know it's a crazy idea, but perhaps in the future you should search out to see if your beliefs are actually based upon reason and evidence. There is no excuse to remain ignorant when information is at your fingertips. Next we have a comment from J. Rhymes who said,
You are comfortable with, you don't want to know, and want to throw your ignorance and the lack of ability to drag your human evolution existence theory into the practical level on religious people, so let you mind halt from even guessing until the new series of science fiction books get released with their false theories which science like math and physics and chemistry etc. would stand in it face. Then think, I don't know, rather in trying to know, you see in order to try you need to guess, but wait you are a closed mind aren't you? Or at least you'd be able of guessing. Can you guess how did matter exist? Or how did the universe came into existence?
Admitting that we don't know the answer to a particular question is the most honest response one can give. Professing knowledge about matters we have no evidence for is incredibly dishonest and lazy. When you don't know the answer to something and want to know, you will have motivation to go search out the answers. If instead you accept unfalsifiable religious claims as truth, your inquiry ends and any real data and knowledge will never be found. Science, in its most basic form, is an honest pursuit to discover how the universe operates. It is not about guessing willy-nilly, it is about coming up with likely hypotheses and testing them to see if they best explain the available evidence. If they do not, then the hypothesis is disregarded and a new one is formulated and tested. Only a religious person fearful of having their beliefs proven false would disparage the work scientists conduct. We don't know how the universe and all of its material came into existence. But through that admission, there are many hard-working men and women trying to discover the answers through the scientific method. Claiming that you know the answers of the universe's mysteries because an illiterate desert man received the word of God from an angel 1400 years ago and put it into writing is almost laughable if it weren't so sad. Azzy Nova is next with this comment.
Your video is idiotic. It symbolizes your lack of knowledge regarding matters that affect a fifth of the world's population. I stopped watching after seeing your ignorant reply to the second comment. So I will go on and reply to the first two comments. 1. The difference between Islam and other religions is that we don't say it's merely a belief. We actually do know. Considering the thousands of miracles which have been proven true, the prophecies which have been fulfilled, the way it simply cannot be proven wrong, the chances of this being a coincidence is mathematically 0.000. If you still think it's all a chance, then you can take your chances, I'll take mine. 2. Shame on you for disrespecting someone who billions love. In his defense, the wife had achieved puberty when the marriage was consummated. It was completely consensual and the wife was extremely happy with her husband. Different areas in the world have different laws pertaining to age of consent, e.g. Spain has the age of consent of 13 while the UK has it as 16. People could have used this against him at that time, but they didn't, simply because it was a norm of that time. Even a state within America had the age of consent as 11, only a 100 to 150 years back. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Goodbye.
I welcome anyone who sees errors in my videos to bring them to my attention, as I strive to believe in things that are actually true, and do away with beliefs that are not based upon reality. Let's see where As Nova thinks I got it wrong. 1. To make a claim that you know something rather than believe it is to say that you have irrefutable evidence to back up your claim. Vague passages out of the Qu'ran that can be loosely interpreted as prophecy do not count as evidence worthy of your knowledge claim. You obviously hold strong beliefs regarding your holy book, but unless you can actually demonstrate specific prophecies within the text, and then point out how in great detail those prophecies have been fulfilled, you have nothing but retroactive clairvoyance. Post-diction, or prediction after the fact, is an effect of hindsight bias that tries to explain passages or past events with knowledge garnered after the event. Islam is not alone in its truth claims regarding fulfilled prophecies, so in order to demonstrate that Islam holds indisputable truths over other religions, you will need to disprove all other conflicting claims made by others and provide evidence to confirm your claims. As with all other religions, failing to do so leads rationally skeptically minded individuals nothing left but to dismiss your knowledge claims and question your justifications for belief. 2. Since Muhammad died centuries ago, he is no longer capable of being disrespected. The dead have no capacity to think or feel anything. I understand that 1.7 billion people on Earth hold him in high regard. However, I do not, and I have every right to voice my opinion on the available evidence. You may be willing to overlook the unpleasantries and concoct a perspective that suits your desires to believe. However, I have no desire to delude myself and others. Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6 years old, and raped her at age 9. Regardless if she achieved puberty at such an early age, she was by all accounts a young child and not capable of making an informed decision. Her puberty status is irrelevant. If you today had a 9-year-old child who decided she wanted to have sex with a 53-year-old man, would you consider that acceptable? There is a reason why children are not tried for crimes as adults are, and why the legal voting and drinking age are at a point when society has deemed the individual to be fully capable and mature enough to engage. The age of consent may be set at different ages in other countries and at other times in history. However, through the progress of science and studying child development, we know that children are incapable of being fully cognizant, as they have not fully developed mentally and have not experienced enough life to make an informed decision. I understand your desire to claw at any and all straws in order to paint a nicer picture of Muhammad. However, the truth is what it is, regardless of how uncomfortable it may be. Knowledge is never a dangerous thing. Willful ignorance is. And our last comment this week is from Magnum Zizak, who said,
That's so stupid when atheists think they don't believe in God because they are very smart and clever people who believe in only what they can see, hear or feel. I tell you that 80% of the greatest philosophers and biggest scientists of all ages are believers, and you can check them: Nicholas Copernicus, Sir Francis Bacon, Johannes Kepler, Galileo Galilei, René Descartes, Blaise Pascal, Isaac Newton, Robert Boyle, Michael Faraday, Gregor Mendel, William Thomson Kelvin, Max Planck, Albert Einstein. So please tell me who I follow, those greatest people that who make a change in our world. Or a loser like you, make some YouTube video in his room living with his mom, trying to be famous by saying I don't believe in God. I think we all know the answer. Peace. Frowny face.
Atheists come in all shapes and sizes, holding a plethora of beliefs and opinions. Some atheists are incredibly smart, while others would have won the Darwin Award multiple times. The only thing in common to all atheists is the rejection of the claim that a God exists. This is typically a result of an application of skepticism and a demand for evidence, which often, but not always, permeates the atheist's other held beliefs. You may be entirely right that down the ages, 80% or more philosophers and scientists have been believers of a God and active parishioners of their church or mosque. But that is less a sign of some underlying truth and more a likely result of the wealthy and powerful religious organizations funding research and hiring people who held their worldview. A more interesting and pertinent tidbit of information is the prevalence of atheistic scientists and educators across the globe today. We live in a time never before seen on Earth where education is accessible to billions and our understanding of the universe is expanding. Every single day we are learning and correcting our understanding in all branches of inquiry. Every day we know more than we have ever in any other day previously. Why would any rational person take advice and truth claims from an ancient society 1400 and more years ago? Sure, the men you have mentioned in your comment have contributed to human advancement in many important ways. However, just like every living theist today, they too believed in things without evidence. Also important to note, not one of those men were Muslims. So if you think we should follow these men as examples, why are you not a Christian? You should not follow any person, but apply skepticism to all claims, including mine. It is up to each and every one of us to investigate truth claims and not to rely on others. People often hold logical and illogical opinions across all sorts of topics. Some of those opinions will be based upon verifiable evidence, some will be based upon unconfirmed or misinformation, and others are the result of ignorance. Not one person, regardless of their intelligence or life achievements, is infallible, and so we should all independently verify their claims. There you have it, 5 stupid comments from 5 different YouTubers. Which comment would you vote to win the Dumbass of the Week award? Would it be 1. Tom Kim, who has had his brainwashed by Islam? 2. Akil Ma, who wonders why monkeys have not evolved? 3. Jay Rhymes, who thinks science is all about guessing? 4. Aze Nova thinks that Islam is different from other religions because Muslims know the truth, not just believe in it? Or 5. Magnum Zizak, who thinks that because many famous philosophers of the past were religious and they were intelligent, we should also believe? To vote, leave your choice in the comment section below. Choose only one winner. Results will be available on my Facebook page and Google Plus page 1 week from today on Friday, February 28th. Check back to see who won. If you enjoyed this video, remember to press the like button and share with everyone. If you would like to submit a video or audio reading of an upcoming stupid comment, send me an email to veganatheist@hotmail.com. Thanks for watching. Want to see more? Click subscribe and keep an eye out for the next Stupid Comments video coming out next Friday. Follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus pages. Links are in the description. Lastly, head over to my channel and check out all the debates, presentations, and videos.